She's not gonna go for that at all because she's been, I'll say brainwashed in believing that anything that is related to the Democratic Party is bad, and
It's
that's
not the
not the
truth.
truth.
It's not
It's
it
not
at
it at
all.
all.
Well, I have clients that are Republicans, but they're only voting because they think it'll benefit them to vote for Trump.
Yeah.
They don't care about anything else.
Anybody that's planning or thinking about voting for Trump, let me just say this. Please be cautious and look at the big picture and listen to what this man has been telling you from day one. Okay? It's not about you, it's about him. This is all about Donald Trump and how to enrich himself and his family, his legacy. Look at the people standing on stage with him. It's all family. It's all about them. When is he going to include you or me? He's not. Look at all the people that he's done business with that ended up getting the short end of the stick, as the old saying goes. Left holding with invoices that are not paid. That's not good business. And you can't run a country that way. You can't enter into relationships with your foreign partners and then not live up to what you promised.
Did he ever finish that casino? Because I stayed at that with Michael Jackson. He sent for us in his private plane. His plane was nice now, but it wasn't finished.
Yeah. You're talking about the
Taj,
Taj Mahal?
yes.
I don't know. I never went there, but I know that there was um, a piano company that sold him $100,000 worth of pianos for that casino, and they didn't pay him for months. And they finally sent him a letter and said, "Hey, take $70,000 or not at all. We don't have the money. We don't know when we're going to have the money. You're just going to have to wait or take the 70,000." And here's a small business guy, 70, $100,000 worth of pianos. I don't know how many was involved, but it doesn't matter if it was just one. The fact of the matter is, he got stuck for a $30,000 loss. Now, most small businesses can't afford that. And even if you're a Fortune 500 company, how many $30,000 losses can you afford to take? And why should you? If you enter into an agreement, when I enter into an agreement, if I go buy a car or a house or whatever, I got to live up to that agreement. Or they're going to take the house back, or they're going to take the car back. I wish this guy had gone in there and repossessed the pianos. That's what I would have done. But that's the shady stuff this guy's been doing for years. And I understand I read somewhere where he's been in over 1,300 lawsuits. So a righteous, straightforward, type business person, you don't go through that many lawsuits. You don't. You prevent that from happening by doing good business. Good business practices. You treat your vendors properly. You pay your bills. Nobody will sue you. So, is that how you treat your vendors if you're a billionaire? That's wrong. I can't get down with that. It's just wrong.
Yeah, I used to work for a man that was like that.
That's wrong.
He would take people's stuff on consignment and would keep them and not give them their money.
See, people like that end up in a ditch. He's been dealing with soft people because if you deal with the street people that way, you'd come up MIA. That's just wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. I don't know. Well, it's day 2 in Philadelphia. I thought the lineup of speakers last night was huge. Unlike the first night of the Republican convention, they had a bunch of nobodies and just negative, talkers, supporters, but it wasn't star-studded. It wasn't a heavy hitter. In fact, when I saw the list of the people that were going to speak last night, I went, "Wow, Bernie's going to speak on the first night, and the first lady, and some of the other strong speakers, Cory Booker." I went, "Wow, what is day 2 going to be like?" So I'm excited about, to see what happens tonight. And I don't know who the speakers are. I have to pull up the list and see. Carol, do you have that by chance?
No, I don't. You want me
Okay.
to get it for you?
Yeah, if we could
Okay.
find that would be great, because I want to let our audience know who's going to speak tonight. And there was definitely protests on the floor. There are Bernie supporters that feel like they've been, mistreated and lied to, and I think the Democratic Party needs to fix it. They need to fix it right now. And anybody and everybody that was involved in this email scandal, that anybody that did anything wrong to hold Bernie Sanders back and not give him the support from the Democratic Party level, then they need to roll.
Well,
Their
I'm
heads
sure a
need to
lot of
roll.
those people were planted in the audience.
Well,
I'm sure they got paid well.
Well, if it doesn't matter. Anybody that did wrong, they need to be fired. They need to get out of the Democratic Party, period. Because you're not doing good business. See, I'm a believer of wrong is wrong. And yes, they apologized to Bernie. And I'm sure he accepted their apology. But the fact of the matter is the damage is done now. He did win 22 states. He needs to be respected. And I'm not saying that because I'm a Bernie supporter. I'm saying that because wrong is wrong. Let's see, Tuesday night. The roll call will be done tonight to officially nominate Hillary. I suspect that there's going to be some disruption there, because the people who are still thinking that Bernie was duped, they're going to be vocal. I fully anticipate seeing and hearing that. Let's see. Introducing Eric Gardner's mother, Gwen Carr. Trayvon Martin's mom. I'm just looking through some of the notable names here. Michael Brown's mother.
But who's the speakers?
These are the names that are on the roll for tonight. These are some of the speakers who are going to speak. So it obviously looks
Isn't
like
Bill Clinton speaking?
let's see here. I don't see his name on this list here for tonight. Yeah. I'm sorry. He's the keynote speaker, the headline speaker, Bill Clinton. Yes. So that's going to be dynamic. Bill is a dynamic speaker. No matter what you think about him, no matter how dirty you might think he is a very, very good speaker. So that should be quite interesting. And on Wednesday, President Barack Obama and Vice President Joe Biden will speak. And it starts tonight, let's see, Tuesday, 4 o'clock Eastern Time. And on Wednesday, the gavel is at 4:30. And on Thursday, the opening is at 4:30. And, of course, Hillary Clinton and Chelsea will speak on Thursday night. And that will conclude the convention for the Democrats. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes down tonight. I think it's going to be a lot of fireworks, because the supporters of Bernie are not taking this laying down. I do believe that in time they will lick their wounds and come aboard and support the party nomination, which will be Hillary Clinton. I don't see that changing tonight in the roll call. I think it's going to be interesting, but I don't think that's going to change. That would be very devastating to the party if it does.
Well, she has a theme for tonight, too. It's called The Lifetime of Fighting for Children and Families. Because I was like, why would she have Trayvon Martin's mother there? So
that's the part
now
of the
I can
theme.
see why she's having these people there.
And that's going to be perceived by some people as being very negative and pro criminals. Watch what I tell you. That's what the Republicans are going to say. And I don't think this should be received in that light. See, one thing that we have a problem with here in America is dealing with truth, the facts, what's really going on. We don't want to acknowledge that. We want to keep kicking the can down the road, sweeping it under the carpet, and not dealing with the true issues that we are faced with. And until we come to the table, sit down, and talk openly about the issues that we have in this country and the world, quite frankly, it's not going to go away. We have to be honest. We have to look each other in the eye and say, hey, man, you know what? This is how I feel. And the other person said, this is how I feel. Well, how do we meet halfway? How do we get rid of this hate and discontent? That's what we got to do. And I was talking to Tammy and Andrew this morning on their show, and I keep going back to the problem with the Republican Party is when I looked at the convention, and while they had a number of minorities speaking on stage, that's just window dressing, in my opinion. When they pan the audience, the delegates, it doesn't reflect, it doesn't look like America.
Well, you know, they were panning into a group that were Latino, but they weren't Latinos. They were white people.
See, and that's the
They were holding signs, and you looked, I go, they don't look Latin to me.
right.
But I think everybody's seen that. They look like all white people.
Well, that's pretty much what the party has been for all my life. I've never seen it look any other way. And America doesn't look that way anymore. And I think until they are more inclusive and actually have an active campaign going out, talking to people that look like you and I, and changing their
He's a little darker than me.
attitude. Nobody knows because they can't see you. But until they change their whole attitude and principles and concept, I don't think they're going to continue. They won't win. They win on hate and fear.
We can't let that happen.
We
People
can't.
that have to see what this man's cost. You know, I seen something you put on Facebook, which I found very interesting. You probably know the story better than I would, but you put up a Caucasian man that his daughter, I think a daughter or son married an Afro-American person.
Right.
And it was interesting. I think you know the story more than I do, what he was saying.
Yeah, he said he just would not accept his daughter dating or bringing home a black person and all of that, and he was hardcore against that. But then his daughter and her boyfriend or husband eventually had a child. And he said he wasn't going to love that child, but he ended up loving that child and turned into being a great-grandfather to the child. And then later on, him and his wife adopted 2 black children, 2 young boys. They looked like they were in a teenage age range. And his attitude completely changed because he got a chance to get to know someone that didn't look like him. And then the love came out of his heart and took him to a whole nother level. He never dreamed of adopting 2 black boys. But after he had built a relationship with his grandson, who was fathered by an African American, and his daughter was white, he said, hey, how can I hate this child? He's part of me. And I think, you know what? There are a number of situations like that, millions of situations. And I think because of integration, and some people just don't like it, because of interracial marriages, integration of our schools, which took too long. But the fact of the matter is, we don't look like 1920 anymore. We don't look like 1940, 1950, 1960, or even 1970.
Well, you know what's funny, too, and I know this is terrible to say. I never see any ugly kids anymore. I know that's terrible to say, but come on, let's not pretend we never looked at a child and said, wow, that's a
ugly
real
child.
You don't see that anymore with all the mixtures of everything, you know, with just mixtures of children, and you just see different looking children because
That's true.
I mean, you'll see white kids mixed with Asian, you'll see Mexicans mixed with white, you'll see black men.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny, you see these kids and you go, I can't say I've seen hardly any ugly children. And I know that people can sit and say I'm wrong what I'm saying, but
Well,
I'm
you
being
know.
very honest. This one time, don't ever say that you never looked at somebody's baby and said to your thinking to yourself, wow, what an ugly child.
But you can't say that to a mom. You say, "Hey, mama, you got one
Oh,
ugly child."
no, you go, oh, your child's so beautiful. But thing is, you don't see that anymore.
Wrong.
You see just, and I mean, I'm talking about appearance because you can be the most beautiful person in the world and have the nastiest personality
That's
where
true.
all of a sudden you start becoming ugly. And I really realize now what they mean when they say beauty is only skin,
Skin
deep.
deep. Yep.
Because I had a
And but-
client like that.
You know, but you can say, "What is ugly?" And that's only in the eyes of the beholder. What's ugly to me
You never
might not
looked
be
at a
ugly.
child and said, wow, that's an ugly child.
I might have said he's odd looking.
But it's sad. It's funny because
That's an odd looking person there.
proves that we all came from the same place. And
Yeah.
they got a new thing, which people should really do because you might find out some history you didn't know. Go get your DNA checked.
Yeah.
They do that, and they will tell you exactly. You might find out that the color you're hating, you might have that blood in you.
That's right. My friend Armando, who lives in Chicago, sent me an email, and I haven't seen it yet. Armando, send that again. But he was telling me about some DNA research that has been done that there's one man and one woman that started the whole population. You know, we can say that's Adam and Eve. But apparently, they are found that a high percentage, I want to say it was 70 or 80% of the DNA came from that one man in all of us. So 80% of the DNA comes from one person. So if it's that high, then guess what? We're all pretty much the same. If that is important to you, it's not important to me.
Well, we would have to be if the world only started with Adam and Eve.
Right. Exactly.
It would have to be.
If that story is absolute, then that was the beginning. So that also justifies why some of us are just butt crazy because our DNA is twisted and too much inbreeding is going on. But see, I'm making a joke of that, but there are people, and especially white people, who believe that if you crossbreed, do interracial breeding, you are killing something pure.
But you know what? When you
And
say
Asians,
that,
too.
I have to say something. It isn't just white people that think that. I see black people
yeah,
that think the same way.
Yep.
They'll sit. I've told you a circumstance I went through because of my color skin of somebody I was with, and his mother would always comment that she wished he was with a beautiful black woman.
Right.
And she would constantly say this, and he never corrected her, and it used to bother me. So it just doesn't come one-sided now. It's two-sided in all
question.
races.
No question. No
I mean,
question about that.
I've been guilty of something, but I've never said anything like that.
Yeah.
Never. But
Yeah.
it does come both ways.
But see-
I have to correct that one.
And I'll give people the benefit of the doubt or the ability to say, that's my preference. I don't hate anybody else. And my sister Margaret, who is no longer with us, she preferred darker skinned men. And that was her preference. She says, I don't dislike anybody else, but for me, I want a deep, dark black man. I said, well, what about, somebody with my complexion? She said, well, they're okay, but that's just my preference. And I went, wow, that's different. I never thought about that. But that was her preference. She didn't hate, light-skinned guys or white people, but her preference for dating or being with a man was, I don't know. And I was a kid during that time, so I didn't have the depth mentally to really explore and dig into deeper. Why, Margaret? Why do you feel that way?
Well, do you have a preference?
I don't. No, I'm a member of the Rainbow Coalition. My first wife was black. My second wife was Mexican. My third wife is Italian and Polish. And so I'm looking for somebody else now. No, I'm kidding.
What race are you looking for now?
No, I'm not looking, and I wasn't looking for them. It's just that's the way it happened.
But would you marry again?
Probably not. No, I'm too damn old for that. No, I don't think so. I'm not even sure that I want to have a serious relationship with anyone. I might.
That kind of happened to me when I
Yeah.
broke up with my ex, and I kind of regret it now because
Do you?
I would now like to have a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want some man with bigger boobs than me or that. And I think that man don't want me either. That man you see with a 20-year-old or
Yeah.
that. But I'm at a point in life where I kind of regret that I quit dating when me and him split up.
Yeah.
And people used to say, "Why are you doing this?" But he
Yeah.
put so much hate in me at the time.
Really?
I think I was, what would be a good word for that?
Do you think you say he put a lot of hate in you?
Yeah, he made me just where I was scared to have any relation. I hated men at the time, and I didn't like women. I
Okay.
thought about it at times. Wow, maybe I could be with a woman, but I thought about what I'd have to do. I thought, oh no, hell no.
What would you have to do? What do you mean by that?
Oh, I'm not going to say what I'd have to do, but I regret it, and I have a lot of friends that say the same thing now. I have men friends that say it.
Uh-huh.
So my advice to any young person or anybody, if you break up with somebody, you got to continue to live
Yeah.
and have another relationship. Don't make that mistake I did because I don't even know how to talk to a guy. I know how to talk to guys in a friendly way, but I don't think I know how to flirt anymore.
Yeah, and I understand that. That is that's something that I wrestle with as well. It's real different when you put in that situation that you have to go through that whole dating thing again. Like, I don't want to go hang out in the bars anymore, nightclubs, and none of that.
I try to get him to go to these park things as a friend. Maybe we can scout together. And everybody, I mean, and it isn't just Lee. I ask everybody, come on, let's go. It's Latin Day at the park today behind. And nobody, I'll go, but they never go. Then I go, oh, it's movie night, free movie night in the. I've grown to a point, I'll just go by myself.
Yeah.
I used to go out and eat by myself, and I went to clubs by myself. And I thought, why not do it again?
Now, for me, I'm here all day long from 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning till 7, 8, 9,
But he's
10
got to
o'clock
make
at night.
time to have a life. He's got to have
Yeah.
a day off.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're trying to build something, that's what you have to do. You make a commitment and make it happen.
You
make
still
it do
have
what it
to
do.
have a day off.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a day off.
Yeah, you're right. I take the weekends off, Saturday and Sunday. So I come in sometime on Saturdays and do a little work, but you're right. I can't argue with you. You're absolutely right. But
Yeah, I am right because
but
you get lonely. All of a sudden, you don't have no kids living at home, and all of a sudden, your cats become your children. And I used to look at older people and say, wow, they treat their dog like it's their baby.
yeah.
And
You-
now here I am. I have 3 cats, and I rush home because they got to have their dinner. I get up real early because I got to comb their hair, wash out their water bowls, and make sure they're set for the day.
Now most cats don't like to be brushed and combed.
Oh, well, you come over to my house, and my cat will literally come up and ask you to do it.
Really.
Yes.
That is a
He will
spoiled
lead
cat.
you to my room. He
Who is
will.
that? Little man?
No, fat boy.
Fat boy.
Little man just wants to eat. Just feed him. That's all he wants. Eat, eat, eat.
He loves to eat, huh?
He loves to eat.
But he's not a big cat.
He's a tall, slender cat,
Hmm.
but he's not big. Like when people see Fat Boy, they go,
That's
"Is that
a cat?
really a cat?"
Wow.
And it's not that he's fat; he's a big cat.
Mm-hmm.
Because I kind of watch his weight. I make sure that he's not eating too much.
What do you feed him?
I feed my cats neutral. I think it's called. It's a natural type food. But then
Is
I
that a
buy
soft
them
food or hard
it's
food?
a hard. They eat both.
Mm-hmm.
And then I feed them fancy feast because I bought real expensive healthy food.
Mm-hmm.
They won't eat it.
Really?
So I feed them that. But then I mix a packaged food that's wet. It's
Mm-hmm.
like stew. They call it a stew with carrots in it. And I mix that in with it. And they like it. But I make sure they always have some wet food and dry food because they need the wet food for their health and the dry food. They need both.
Yeah.
And I don't feed them just once a day. I have friends, they only feed their animals once a day. And I think to myself, well, why don't you eat only once a day? I don't understand it, but I have
Well,
a
it
lot
depends.
of friends that do that.
Yeah.
But my friends that are like I am with my pets, where I just love them to no end, and people laugh at me because I always make sure their water's clean.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give them tap water because I'm not going to drink it, so why would I expect them to drink it?
Right.
So I think there's people like me, and then there's people that have a pet to have a pet, and they think giving them a pat once in a while that
Is
is
enough.
it. But
Yeah.
that isn't enough. It isn't.
Yeah.
You
Well,
should
I agree
actually
with you.
feed them something later on in the day. I mean, I couldn't imagine going from morning to the next morning, but I have a couple friends that do that. And
You
but-
know, it depends too. You know, I've talked to veterinarians, and some vets say, no, you feed them a couple times a day, morning and late day, or 4 or 5 o'clock. And others say, yeah, once a day. So I don't know. It just depends. If you put it down and they eat it, then I guess they want it. If you put it down and they don't eat it, then they don't want it.
well, to me, if you measure what you're giving them
Yeah.
and you count it out for that morning and then they eat, that's how I do it. I have 3 cats and I give them one little can of food,
Each.
a tiny one.
Yeah.
No, not each.
Oh, you split
And
it
I
up.
might add some, like I said, this real healthy type
Yeah.
packaged food called Abound. But I don't do that every day. And I always have dry food sitting in the bowl.
Gotcha.
So-
Now, do they fight over the food?
Well, not really, because little man eats his and then he looks around to see what they're finishing. And then they both try to rush to get hers because she's not a big wet food eater. And
Okay.
both of them will leave their food when they see the other, like 2 kids.
Right, right.
Rushing to see if she ate any of it.
Yeah.
And usually
They'll
Fat
go get-
Boy wins that round.
Okay.
He'll leave his own plate
And
to
go
go
eat
get
hers.
hers.
Yeah.
So when that happens, little man runs back and eats Fat Boy's.
So you move, you lose.
But Fat Boy actually likes dry food more. So, and
okay.
little man likes wet food.
Do
but
you
he-
feed them table food at all?
No. Well,
Never?
once in a while I buy a chicken, but they don't usually eat it. They're believe it or not, they know the difference. They know if something's processed, they won't eat it. So I
So
have
you
to
go buy chicken and cook it just for them,
No, I
or-
buy it from Costco's. It's cooked.
Oh, okay.
But I buy turkey that's been roasted. I don't buy turkey in a package that's processed because it's not good for us. So why would it be good for them?
Right.
But they eat cat food. I don't let people feed my cats scraps. So when people come over, it's like, don't even think about it.
Yeah.
A lot of times I just put them in the room
Yeah, that's
because
that's
I don't
best.
want to walk in the room and somebody's kicking my cat because
Oh,
then
no.
I know me.
That'd be an ugly
People
scene.
do that though. I was guilty of
That's-
that years ago.
No.
Yes, years ago I did that to somebody's pet, and I think about that now, and I go, "What was wrong with me?"
Was it a cat or dog?
It was a cat. He got in my house and jumped up on my shoulder.
Oh. Well, it frightened you.
I think I frightened him too, but I threw him, and I think about that to this day.
Well, you didn't.
I used to be kind of bad.
Yeah?
I'm not going to deny it. I used to take frogs and nail them to a merry-go-round, and then
Thank you.
you push it and you beat them.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. I was bad.
Wait a minute. Explain that to me again. You nailed frogs to a
Yeah, we
merry-go-round?
would get those big bullfrogs.
Yeah.
And you nail their little to the thing, and then you spin the thing and you whip at them. I think about that now. I go, what was wrong with me? But I guess because I grew up in the country, like your friend, what's his name, the Swamp Man or whatever. Andre. And we were just different towards things like that. But I know one time my mother, because in the country, they'll drown kittens or they shoot.
Oh,
and my
no.
mother gave me a gunny sack, and I remember she said, take it to the crib. I couldn't do that.
I got into a fight with one of
But
my
I'm different now.
childhood buddies.
I've been different for years.
Yeah.
That was just the way I lived. I mean,
Yeah.
we lived off of what we raised. I mean, we didn't raise it for a trophy.
Yeah.
We weren't rich.
Right. I got into a fight with a friend of mine when I was a kid. And the fight was about the fact that he was sticking firecrackers in a turtle's mouth and lighting it. So it would blow the turtle's head off. I went, no, man,
I
you
couldn't
can't
even
do
tell you
that.
all the stuff I've done.
You can't do that.
That's horrible. Maybe that's why I'm such an
Sick.
animal activist now, because
Yeah.
I was a bad little kid. I'm not going to deny it. I was bad. And I think
Wow.
about it now, and I go, if I see people even step on a bug, it bothers me.
I'll step on a bug.
So, God forgives us when we change.
Yeah.
He forgives anybody. That's why I laugh when people say things and that. It's like, you're not the judge. When people tell me, oh, in the Bible, that bothers me. It's like, who wrote that Bible? Because God didn't write it.
Yeah.
So things like that, and I regret anything I did to anything before, because nothing like that.
Yeah. Well, I believe in live and let live, and certainly I don't believe in torturing or treating animals wrong. I think we have an obligation to protect our pets, treat them nice. Even a stray animal, I see a stray animal. I'm guilty. I'm one of those guys that will feed a alley cat. I'm just that guy. That's me. There's some cats that live right outside of the office here, up here on the hill, and I take water out there to them at least.
Do you give them some food once in a while?
Yeah, I have.
Better hope nobody's listening to that.
I have.
I do the same thing, but my cats don't eat. I put outside.
Yeah.
And they go, well, you're feeding the raccoons or the
Yeah.
I go, I don't care,
That's all right.
Why should I throw it away?
It's all a part of the system. So if the rats eat it, then the cats will eat the rats. So it all works out. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back and talk a little bit about Philadelphia and the Democratic National Convention. Stay tuned. It's the Lee Michaels Show on the Power of Voices. We are live Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon Pacific time. We'll be right back.
Listen to radio online. Will your voice be heard? ThePowerOfVoices.com.
Hey, this is Greg Bell from the Rams Sports and Life on ThePowerOfVoices.com. Join me every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday as I'll be talking Rams Sports and Life. And you never know who's going to join me on the show. So make sure you check out Rams Sports and Life on ThePowerOfVoices.com.
Okay, so 5 tacos and cheese and a large soda, that's $10,012. Please drive around.
10,000 what?
Obvious you're buzzed and driving.
I've only had a few. I'm fine.
Yeah, the food's $12, but getting pulled over for buzz driving can cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Please drive around. Actually, just park and come in.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You want news and entertainment your way, whenever you want it, wherever you want it, on any device you're using at the moment, right? Then the internationally award-winning Crown City Network has you covered. Our website, CrownCityNews.com, has written news stories and videos from news to talk, entertainment, politics, and more. Crown City Network. We connect your world.
When Dad needed help getting around, I became his driver. Soon enough, it was up to me to be his housekeeper and financial manager, too. When he moved in, I became his cook and even his nurse. But no matter what roles I play, I know I'm still his daughter.
We understand the roles you play. So to help, we created AARP.org/caregiving, where you can connect with experts and other caregivers. Visit AARP.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
ThePowerOfVoices.com, covering topics from wealth management to understanding your tweens to getting help for that misbehaving pet. It's all right here, just for you.
Welcome back to the Lee Michaels Show on the PowerOfVoices.com. It is day 2 in Philadelphia at the Democratic National Convention. And tonight they're going to do the roll call. And to make it official that Hillary Clinton is the nominee, they go through a roll call with each of the states, at least up until the point where you get enough votes from the delegates to take it over the top. So that's going to happen tonight. And that should be interesting to see how that goes down, because it's still a little tenuous as it relates to the Bernie supporters. They feel like they've been ripped off. And the other side thinks that, well, lick your wounds and get on down the road and get on board and become united. And that's going to happen. There'll be a few that just can't forgive and forget. That's human nature. That happens. But for the most part, I think the party will become united, move forward. History dictates that. It's the way it works. Because ultimately, if you don't want to support the other side, you got to fall in line. Or stay home. And I strongly recommend that people don't stay home, go out and vote. Was it over 80% of the Congress is up for re-election? That is a very, very, very important thing to look at. Because no matter who becomes the president, if the attitude, position, and mindset of the Congress doesn't change, then not much is going to change. I think we need to flush the toilet on Congress, bring in a bunch of new people, and charge them with the responsibility of being responsible to the people in America, start voting on our behalf for our interests, not their own personal interest. And quite frankly, I'm sick and tired of career politicians. Many of them need to retire. Go home and enjoy your wealth. Get out of the way and let some new, young ideas come into play and continue to move America forward. That's my opinion.
Now, did you know there
Wait a
was
minute. Go ahead.
there was another attack in France on a church? And
Yeah, beheaded a priest.
well, they slit his throat.
Yep. That's horrible.
And what he did is he got up on the person that did this and started reciting stuff in Arabic.
Yeah, they do that when they are committing these heinous crimes.
They did. He did. They did a ceremony around the altar.
See, that's just no respect. They're just hateful people.
But you
that
know,
do
when
that.
Trump sits and says, "I would go in and get them all," no, you wouldn't get them all because you
don't know who
can't
they
find
are.
them.
That's right.
Like Kerry said, it's impossible to find them. It's no way. It's like a needle in a haystack.
It is. It is the worst enemy that I think we've ever.
Well, because they're
Dealt with.
they're the weapon. I mean, look at the one the other day in Germany. He went to a festival, and thank God he didn't have a ticket because the top man wouldn't let him in. So he blew himself up.
Yep.
But I think he was the only one that died. I think other people got hurt, but they shut the festival down. So you don't know where they're going to show up.
Well, that is a huge problem to try to stop people who are doing these type of crimes. It's a whole new warfare that no one has ever faced before, at least to my knowledge. When people are willing to blow themselves up for whatever reason, I don't know how you stop it. I mean, the only way you're going to stop something like that is everybody has to get naked.
Oh, to go into the thing?
Just be naked all the time.
Oh.
Well, and then that way you can at least tell who's got, a bomb vest on.
I don't even know if that would stop it. To
You
be
don't think so?
honest. No. They could have it planted up inside the boohoo hole.
Oh, no.
Or the yee hole.
They wouldn't do that.
Well, you don't know that. They carry drugs that way.
Yeah, that's true.
They could have a string attached to it, and they just pull
Oh,
it.
stop it. I can't even deal with that. Welcome to the Lee Michaels Show. I think that, you know who I think that was?
Oh.
It wasn't Spy Boy. It was a foreign number I'd never seen, but I think it was probably, you know how these telemarketing companies, I can't wait to get one of those guys on the air, and I'll have some fun with them. I hope they call back.
Well, usually they put a computer to it.
Yeah, but I'll talk to the computer and get a human on. I like the ones I used to get probably 10 or 15 of them a month. They would call to want me to put a sign in my yard for a security system. They said, we'll give you this security system free. Just let us put a sign in your yard. I said, really? Oh, wow, that sounds like a great idea. But, son, let me tell you something. It's not possible. I said, why? Because I live on the 32nd floor. I go off and I don't have a damn yard. Where are you going to put the sign? On my balcony? Nobody will see it unless you're a fucking bird.
Or the solar thing. They call me all the time. I go, I live in a condo.
Yeah.
Click.
Yep. So, yeah, I finally went through about 10 or 15 of those guys. And I guess they all took me off the list. But I think it's the same people calling over and over again. Because how many different companies could it be out there doing the same stupid calling?
I don't know, but reading Uber, there's some smart business people.
Yeah.
They've started now a pet walking thing. They now have We Shop for You.
What?
Uber.
Yeah, I know they do package deliveries now.
Yeah.
Boy, the drug dealers are probably happy with that, huh?
Yeah. But Google grocery shops, they have their own trucks, and they have these young kids, and they do it with Costco's and that.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're just putting the small businessman out every way they can.
Well.
And it's scary because if you read, I don't know if you've ever paid attention to Nostradamus. I can't say a lot of words. A lot of that was predicted, how the greedy gets greedier and greedier, and it's happening.
But is that being greedy or is it being enterprising?
I think it's greedy.
That
we use the word enterprising, but they just can't stand for anybody to have a small business any longer. It's like in the Latin areas now, they've bought up places there. The rents are higher. The small Latin restaurants are being closed down, or the prices are sky high, and the people that made them their business are being moved out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's greed.
Well, then you have to adjust.
How do you adjust?
You
going
do
to come
something
work
different.
for them for $8 an hour?
No, you do something different. Things have a life cycle.
I mean, I seen it in the hair business where a hairdresser used to blow dry. You'd go in, get a cut, a blow dry, the whole 9 yards. Then they started wanting to charge you for a blow dryer, which was a mistake to charge for blow dries. So you had somebody that was smart. They opened what they call a blow dry bar. And everybody goes there now.
So wait a minute. What do you mean by blow dry? I mean,
when a woman used to get her hair colored, they would blow it out for you and style it.
At no extra cost?
No extra, but they started charging.
Well, doesn't that take up time to do that, though?
Yeah, but they make plenty of money.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they made money.
So, okay, what was the charge for the initial
Maybe an
service?
extra $40.
$40 to
if you're in
blow
a
dry
real
and style
cheap
it?
salon, they probably do the whole thing. But the blow bars that opened, they took over all that business because you could call up, get an appointment, run in, and get your hair blow dried for almost nothing. And the people that work there kind of takes from what hairdressers were is they get paid by the hour.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hurt the regular hair business. It really has.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know hairdressers that have been around for years, and they'll go work there 2 days a week just to make ends meet.
So what do they charge at the blow dry bar?
Probably about $35 to blow your hair out.
Okay, and what would
Any
the other
hair.
And what would the major salon cost?
Well, usually if you came in and you had real thick hair, they're going to charge you about $100.
Just for blow dry and style?
A salon in Beverly Hills or Westwood, those kind of areas.
What about in the hood?
Oh, you can get a full head of extensions and a cut and a blow dry for probably $125 or $200.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But to me, you hurt your own business doing that. You should sell yourself for more. I won't do it.
Well, yeah, it's all
And
about.
I only do extensions and hair
Yeah.
pieces. And people will tell me they have a client for me, and they'll go, well, she usually goes to this place. I go, I don't want the client. I'm not going to sit for 8 hours for $200. No way.
Yeah,
Even when you need the money, I'm not going to do it.
yeah. Well, you have to hold. You got to recognize your value, and that's
Yeah.
what you're doing. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just like when you go to a shopping mall or a department store, and if I go to buy a suit, and the suit is $800, and the suit looks great on me, it feels good, I really like the suit, but if I don't have the $800, I got to go somewhere else. I can't expect them to give it to me for $300 because that's all I've got. You got to go somewhere else. So you can't go to needless markup. you might have to go.
Yeah,
to
you could
J.C.
go to
Penney.
Nordstrom Rack.
Yeah, exactly.
They have great deals.
So I don't take offense to that because it's.
I myself like thrift stores. You could find some great stuff in there. You could probably find an Armani suit there for maybe $50.
Really.
Yeah. And sometimes it's from very wealthy people that maybe wore the suit twice.
They fart in it?
Well, most people do that anyway, so it wouldn't matter. You're going to get the suit clean, aren't you?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I mean, people don't realize going into a thrift store is like a big treasure chest. I love it.
Uh-oh. Dallas Cowboy pass rusher Randy Gregory has checked himself into a treatment facility. That's too bad. Yeah, I'm a Cowboy fan. And there you go. Who cares?
Well, I think they get them strung out in drugs. If they get hurt, they give them a morphine shot and put them right back out on the field and stuff. So before you know it, they've created a problem.
That's true. When you're making, $20, $30 million a year, you're going to get back out there and keep that money coming in.
Yeah, because they don't really care about you. They'll just replace you.
That's true. It's like a chess game.
It is a chess game.
Yep. Just going through some of the headlines to see if there's anything really relevant here that makes sense. But tonight at the convention, looks like they've got a host of mothers from victims of violence, from Trayvon Martin and many others that are going to speak tonight. It should be an interesting presentation. And what's the theme again? Would you remember? I don't have it up in
No,
front
but
of me.
it's for families and that.
Yeah. And that's been kind of the message from last night in Michelle Obama's speech. She was selling the fact that Hillary is the best choice for looking out for America's families. So there's a kind of a common thread through the convention so far, all about the family and safety and all
I'm
that.
excited to hear her. I'm sure her daughter's going to speak.
Yeah, she's going to speak on Thursday with her mom and Chelsea. It's going to be tonight is I think the real fireworks night, depending on the outcome of the delegate count and how entertaining that might be. And I'll say entertaining because this is going to be entertaining. I do believe that there's going to be some pushback from the Bernie supporters who are not willing to concede at this point. And they have a right to feel upset.
Yeah, but I'm still telling you, I believe some of them are paid by Trump.
I don't know how they would get them in the place because there's nobody in there but delegates, and those delegates, unless they were bought and paid for early
That
on.
whole audience was delegates last night.
Yeah, that's pretty much only people that are allowed to come in. Yeah,
and they were acting like that.
Yeah, they're passionate about their beliefs, and that's the American way. I don't see a problem with that, and that's the place to vocalize your grief or your position. That's what the convention is all about. So they're out there, displaying their beliefs. Welcome to America. I love it.
See, it shows you how much I really pay attention to politics.
But that's the only way you bring about change. You got to be vocal. You got to be seen. You got to be heard. You
So
gotta
how
stand
come
up for
all
your-
these delegates, are they the ones that all voted for him?
Yeah, there's a combination of regular delegates and the super delegates. Super delegates are typically politicians, state senators, and congressional members, et cetera. And there's several. I don't know. I forget the numbers now off the top of my head, but you have to be some kind of political official, governors, senators, House of Representatives, people like that are super delegates. Then there are regular delegates like you and I. You could be a delegate. You have to go to the local Democratic Party and petition to become a delegate. And I don't know what the requirements are anymore, but that's how that works. When I was the chairman of the Democratic Party in my county in Illinois, I was a delegate. And
Oh, you were?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I wasn't a super delegate because I wasn't an elected official at that time because I was appointed chairman. But once I became elected, I think that I might have been maybe a possible super delegate. I may be wrong on that. But there's a process. And not everybody can be a super delegate, usually elected officials. So, that being said, that is why Hillary had such a dominating number of super delegates because she had relationships with all these people. Her husband, herself, she knew all the governors and Senate members and House of Representatives and all of that. And they cut the deal early on. Say, look, I'm going to run. Are you with me? And I said, sure, Hillary. At that time, maybe they didn't know Bernie was going to run. Had they known, could some of them have been swayed the other way? Possibly. But that's politics. That's the way it works. It's about relationships. It's that way in business. Who do you do business with? People that you know, that you have done business with before. If you have a issue in your house, you need a plumber, you're going to call a plumber that you've had business with before or through a recommendation. So you might call your neighbor up and say, hey, I need a plumber. Do you have a good plumber? Oh, yeah, call Joe the plumber. So you call Joe. Joe comes in, does a good job for you. Now you've got a good relationship with Joe the plumber. So that's the way the world works. It's about relationships. I tell my children all the time, look, you got to build relationships with people. You got to treat people nice, with respect. They're going to do the same thing with you. You present yourself that way. You do honorable business with people. Then you're going to build a good relationship. And that's the way it works. I have hundreds and hundreds of friends all over the industry because I treat them nice. I treat them with respect. Don't talk down to them. You try to help people out the best that you can, and that's how you become successful. You build a relationship with a lot of people. So that's what life is all about. That's where it goes down. So tonight, you're going to see people that are not happy with the fact that Hillary's going to become the nominee officially. But it's going to happen. It's basically a done deal. This is just a ceremony, the process that you're going through at this point. Now, there's my buddy Armando. Now, Armando, you know that I am live on the air. I should put you on the air right now. How you doing? Okay, call me when I'm off the air. Did you fix your computer yet? You know what? You're fired. Bye. Armando's been working on his computer. He's been trying to upgrade his computer from Windows 7 to Windows 10 for about 4 days. And without getting too technical, he needs to flash his BIOS. In order to do that, he's got to burn this one little file to a CD, then put the CD into his laptop, boot up from that CD, and then it'll flash the BIOS. That's a little technical thing. So once he upgrades his BIOS, then Windows 10 will probably install. But he's been wrestling with this thing, and I think that really the problem is he's got a bad CD drive. Because every time he tries to burn this file, it burns, but then it won't boot from it. Either that or the process of him burning this iOS file to the CD is not working. So I may have to fly to Chicago to fix his computer. No, Armando, send the computer to me. That would be mo better. See, that's called relationships. Armando I've known since 1981. I hired him as a disc jockey from El Paso, Texas, to work with us in Chicago. And he is a great guy. By the way, some of you radio people out there looking for a good program director, operations manager, would you please hire Armando Rivera? He's an honest, hardworking guy. He knows the business inside out. I will recommend, vouch for him 100%. It's a damn shame that there are people like Armando Rivera and many others sitting on the sideline trying to get back into the radio business, and y'all sitting there bringing in knuckleheads. Qualified, super qualified people can't get a damn job in radio. It's a shame. I said it, and I'm sticking with it. Y'all need to change. You need to hire these good, honest people right now, as my mom would say, and I mean it. Yeah, so don't get me on that soapbox because I'll talk all day about that one because it's near and dear to my heart. I'm passionate about it because I love radio. More than 20 people arrested outside Governor's Mansion in St. Paul as the police are clearing out protesters. Where is it? St. Paul, Minnesota, or St. Paul? Where is this? You know, I hate these headlines, and that's all they give you. You click on the damn link, and you get the same thing. Not good. Why you do that? It's a link to Twitter, so I'm going to Twitter here. And there's no link to the full story. Don't you hate that? What are you looking at over there?
Where Trump now calls for a ban on French and Germans from entering the U.S.
And why is that?
I don't know. He's an idiot.
What did the French and Germans do?
Call up Tammy. She should know.
I should do that.
Yeah, call Tammy. I'm just curious. It says, unless it's a fluke.
Oh, my goodness. What did the French and Germans do to America that you want to ban them? I mean, come on. Trump. See, this is why I believe this guy really does not want to be the president. Because he'll take one step forward and 3 steps back. And that's a 3-step backer right there. Did you see Sarah Silverman, the comedian, last night?
No, I'm guilty of not watching it.
She's kind of a fox, too.
Sometimes I have to work, so I don't get to see things.
Yeah. Yeah, she was pretty funny. She told the...
But wasn't she a big supporter of Bernie Sanders?
Yeah, and she told the supporters to get over it. Let it go. Let's move forward. Which makes sense.
You probably heard my ice just now, huh?
Yeah, I heard that.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
I can't drink something if there's no ice in it.
Really?
No, I like things.
Now, let me ask you a question. Do you prefer crushed ice or large ice cubes? Or does it matter?
Well, if I'm going to be gone long, I want the large because it'll last longer, the ice. But I like crushed, but that won't last as long. It melts.
Okay.
But I have to have ice. I'm one of these people.
I will vote for Hillary with gusto.
Oops.
Well, he shut me down.
I didn't mean to do that.
As I continue to be inspired and moved to action by the ideals set forth by Bernie, who will never stop fighting for us. I am proud to be a part of Bernie's movement, and a vital part of that movement is making absolutely sure that Hillary Clinton is our next president of the United States. Booyah, baba booey.
She's funny. That's Sarah Silverman. In spite of the cheering and maybe some booing, she kept on. She kept, with her speech, and she delivered it, and it was fun and funny. Her and Al Franken were up there together, who is also a comedian and a Congress member. He's a congressman now. It's interesting. His story, he started out as a comedian. Then he became a talk show host, and now he's a congressman. And I've always said that the reason Air America failed or was not as successful as they hoped for was they had too many damn comedians on it and inexperienced talk show hosts. And I wish that I had the opportunity to program that network because I think it just did not have the right approach. You couldn't really take it seriously because it was too many comedians. Everything was, it was a Bush bashing in a humorous way, constantly. And after a while, that gets old. You got to have some flavor and some different approaches to it, and you just can't beat on the same drum all day long. I mean, they'll give you a headache. But anyway, that was Air America, which the concept was good. What did you guys think of Cory Booker last night? I thought he was pretty dynamic. His speech was very, it was filled with messages and hope. I don't know how he can keep that energy level up, though. I said, man, this guy's going to lose his voice here in a minute. He's going to start cracking. But he held it. Now, what he sounds like today, who knows? But he was definitely intense. But I think his message was heard, and on the social media platforms, I saw a lot of good responses about Cory Booker and what he talked about. And the First Lady, she knocked the ball out of the park. She's a dynamic speaker. And by the way, she was looking very presidential. You know what I mean? I thought, wow, is she running? She could. And I think she would do very well. Now, wouldn't this be interesting? If Hillary becomes the president of the United States, that would be a first of a husband and wife both have been the president. Now, after her 4 or 8 years, what if, I'm just saying, what if Michelle Obama steps up and says, okay, I'm going to run. I'm going to run to be the first black female president of the United States. That would be historic because her husband would have been a former president, as is Bill Clinton. And Hillary, if she becomes the president, that would be another American historical event, evolution, thing, whatever you want to call it. It would be fun to see that. I don't think I'll live long enough to see it, but it could happen. It really could. And I think she would probably make a pretty good president because she's concerned, passionate, caring, focused. And I think she would be smart enough to surround herself with people who maybe are smarter or more experienced in areas that she might not be an expert in. I believe she's smart enough for that. Unlike some other people who have run for president, who have surrounded themselves with people that, in my opinion, were not good choices. Dick Cheney was actually the president. I don't think George Bush made most of those decisions. Dick Cheney was large and in charge because that was one of Herbert Walker Bush's boys. That was one of his pals. So he said, I got to get somebody in here with my knucklehead son to make sure that we can keep this thing rolling. So that's the game of politics. That's the way it works. But Cory Booker was dynamic last night. Did you see Cory last night speaking?
No, remember I told you I didn't get to watch it.
You didn't watch any of it?
No.
No. Oh.
I'm a working lady.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's play a little bit of Cory
I
so
can
you can
watch it.
Let's check out Cory Booker.
An English king said he would crush our rebellion. But Americans from around our nation joined the fight. From Bunker Hill to the Battle of Trenton, they stood, and so many fell. giving their lives in support of our daring declaration that America, we will rise. This is our history. This is our history. Escaped slaves, knowing that liberty is not secure for some until it's secure for all. Sometimes hungry, often hunted in dark woods and deep swamps, they looked up to the North Star and said with a determined whisper, America, we will rise. Immigrants, risking their lives in times of sweatshops and child labor. They organized labor unions and devoted themselves to lifting the tired, the poor, and the huddled masses. With fierceness of grit, they shouted so all could hear, America, we will rise. King pointed to the mountaintop. Kennedy pointed to the moon. From Seneca Falls to those who stood at Stonewall Inn, giants before us said in a chorus of conviction, America, we will rise. My fellow Americans, we cannot fall into the complacency or indifference about this election, because still the only thing necessary for evil to be triumphant is for good people to do nothing. You know the saying. My fellow Americans, we cannot be seduced by cynicism about our politics, because cynicism is a refuge for cowards. And this nation is and must always be the home of the brave. We are the United States of America. We will not falter or fall. We will not retreat or surrender our values. We will not surrender our ideas. We will not surrender the moral high ground. Here in Philadelphia, let us declare again that we will be a free people, free from fear and intimidation. Let us declare again that we are a nation of interdependence, and that in America, love always trumps hate. Let us declare. Let us declare, so that generations yet unborn can hear us. We are the United States of America. Our best days are ahead of us. And together, with Hillary Clinton as our president, America, we will rise. God bless America.
Wow.
Pretty dynamic.
You should play that little boy, that rap he did, because I think that was pretty powerful.
Yeah, he did a poem.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you got to play that.
Let me see if I can find that. No, I posted it on my page,
I'm
right?
telling you, it makes you cry.
Yeah. Let's see if I can find that one. Yeah, but that was Senator Cory Booker from New Jersey, and he nailed it. I thought it was very inspiring, very energetic. The message was strong, and these are the kind of things that we don't hear from our pals across the other side of the aisle. They missed the boat of inspiring and uplifting, and I guess they do it in their own way, but I don't think it doesn't come out the same. You don't feel the soul in it. You know what I mean? It just doesn't penetrate. Wow. Let me see if I can find that a few days ago.
I'm going to share it right now, and it'll come up on your thing.
Okay.
Should come up now.
All right, let me refresh. Thank you, Carol.
Well, I even cried. I was looking at the audience, but just listening to how passionate he was.
Yeah, it's not coming up yet. Let's see. You shared it to my page?
I just share it.
Okay. All right, let me go back to the...
You can go on my page and you'll see it.
Yeah.
It just popped up.
Yep.
You got it?
No, I'm going to your page now.
I think I'm watching the wrong show, The Preachers. The Preachers is a talk show, right?
Yes.
Well, they have a series that's called The Preachers, too.
Yeah, the preachers' wives, maybe?
I don't know
No.
what it is, but he's always killing somebody, I think.
No, that's not the same. Yeah, this one is a four. I think it's 4 different preachers, black preachers, and it's only in 10 markets now. I think it's kind of doing a test market kind of thing. It's not all over the country, and they have a different guest on each day.
I think it's going to do good.
You think so, huh?
Yeah, if they have people like him on.
Yeah. All right, let's see. I found the post here, and this is Royce Mann, 14-year-old, who wrote a poem for a school activity, and to say the least, it's almost 6 million views to this video. So let's listen to it.
Lives matter, but one, so do black lives. Why do two phrases that should work side by side seem to only divide? Two, that's all anyone's saying. Black lives matter too. 11, that's how many times I can't breathe, 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 I can't breathe. Eric Garner said I can't breathe before he was killed by police. So I guess those 3 words only mean stop if you're white. 15, that's how old Cameron Sterling was when he lost his father. 15, that's how old Cameron Sterling was when he said we must protest the right way. 15, that's how old Cameron Sterling was when he said peace, not guns. 20, so why were 20 officers shot in retaliation when all that separates black and blue is only a few shades? 52, it's been 52 years since the Civil Rights Act passed and everyone supposedly became equal. Well, guess what? We're in 2016 and films about equality are still part of the fantasy genre. 102. That's how many unarmed black people were killed by police last year. 1. 1 is one more than that number should have been.
Oh, my God. That's Royce Mann, 14 years old. He gets it. He gets it.
Yeah, it's a shame when a child gets it, but nobody else can.
That was a dynamic performance. He wrote that, ladies
I
and
mean,
gentlemen.
every time I hear it, I get tears.
Yeah.
Because he's speaking from his heart of what he feels.
Absolutely. And what he's seeing. He's a 14-year-old. He gets it. He clearly understands the problems that we're dealing with in this country. Sometimes the children are smarter than we think. They get it. They have more of an open mind than some of us old farts. Pay attention, folks. Listen to your children and support them. Embrace their ideas. Don't give them the stiff arm.
Well, to me, this should go down in history, what he's saying.
I'm sure it will. I know it will. Because it's real. It's heartfelt. And look at the people in the audience there. They were tearing up. They were crying. Because they've either witnessed it, they feel it, they've seen it, they know someone has been through it. And if there's never been a better time for us to recognize and come together and deal with the issues. We got to deal with the issues, plain and simple. And it's time right now for America to recognize and deal with the issues. It's not hard. It's just a matter of doing it. Put your hate aside. Let your prejudice go.
And this is everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Isn't just here.
Yeah, we got to start at home. We can't go out and tell people how they need to be if we're jacked up at home.
Oh, I think everybody's starting to see it. Just like in Israel, what goes on. I mean, fighting over something that's went centuries and centuries, but it really does belong to the Palestinians, if I'm correct.
Well, they can live peacefully together.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's
They
what
need to
should.
learn to live together.
Absolutely. I don't know. It's been going on for so long, generations and hundreds and maybe thousands of years. I would like to think
Today's
that
R&B and old school 107.3 Jams. Kelly Mack and the infamous.
Kelly, what do you get out of my show? See what happens when you press a button and then all of a sudden audio starts coming out. It's Kelly Mack. She's a disc jockey down in the South, and she's doing an interview with Maxwell. And I went to her link there, and it just started playing. So that's what that was. Good jock. She's a good jock. Good air personality. What's up, Kelly? Kelly Mack. You know what? The internet has really brought the country together. There used to be, back in the day, when we would have to record our shows to a cassette and send it around to get people to hear what you were doing. Or if there was a listen line, which was a telephone number that you could call into a radio station, and you sit on the phone and listen to what they were doing on the air. And not everybody would have access to that. Usually the program director or the consultant or the vice president of the company or whatever. But now you can listen to people from all over the country right on your phone, on your computer, your laptop, your tablet, whatever. So everything is real time. And I wake up in the morning typically and scan through Facebook and YouTube and invariably catch several air personalities in different parts of the country and watch them do their thing. It's quite interesting, entertaining, informative. And what I do like about it is it gives these air personalities an opportunity to say and do things that they can't do when they're on the radio. But they have their laptops or tablets or phones set up on Facebook, and they're streaming live, and they talk to the audience. That's a brilliant and a very good thing to do. It's engagement. It's giving the air personalities an opportunity to engage with the audience in a way that they can't do because it would be against the station's format to do that on the air. And that's too bad because they should be engaging the audience differently. But be that as it may, I'm so glad to see some of you doing that. Now, I understand there are some stations that prohibit you from doing it, but those that can, then you should. And that helps build a brand for you as an individual, as well as the station. Nobody loses in that. You're not spiting or doing something against the station. You're actually promoting the station by doing so. Rick Party, I enjoy watching him online. KJ Midday, Kelly Mack, JoJo. I call him one of my radio sons. I met him in St. Louis when he was like 14, 15 years old. Now he's been in the business for 40 years. Damn. That makes you old.
Did you see where Michael Jordan talked and how he donated money to the police and NAWCP more for Black Lives Matter?
Exactly. He said he couldn't sit back and stay quiet any longer.
Yeah, because he said the police are here to help us, but also being a man of color, what he's had to experience. So.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, how most of us should see it.
Well, I think
some people are out there that have nothing to do with either movement, and they're killing people because Black Lives Matter is not the one killing people.
No. So, yeah, I'm glad to see him step up and, put his money where his mouth is. And, he's always been kind of silent, and he doesn't get involved in politics. You don't hear him speaking out and endorsing anyone or making a statement on anything that goes down. And he said, hey, I'm tired of being quiet. And that's a good thing. But that just shows you how intense things are.
I would like to hear Bernie Sanders' speech. They said people clapped for over 3 minutes when he was done.
Oh, yeah. I'll find it. I got it here. I got him. It's coming up here. Got to get past it.
It's funny looking. It's funny. I see a cat
Yeah.
sitting in the little dog's bed, and the dog wants his bed back. So the dog's pulling at the bed, but the cat's just looking at him like, okay.
Give me my bed back.
But he won't give it back. The cat's sitting in there just looking at him like you're crazy. And the dog's pulling on. And it's funny, the animals are just like humans because
Yeah,
we do the
they're
same
territorial.
thing. Very territorial.
Sure.
Like I have a certain place in my house I sit.
Mm-hmm.
And if you come in my house and you sit in my spot, I'm kind of like that. I finally have to say, can you move over there?
This is my seat.
Well, did your mother have a certain spot? I know my mom did. She had a blue
No.
reclining chair.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't
nobody
recall.
sat in that chair. That was her chair.
I don't recall my mom having a spot like that.
She didn't have a spot that she liked to sit in, or your dad or you. Do you have a spot when you have your home where you like to sit?
No, I don't.
Maybe it's a thing that I do. I don't know.
I don't. I'm not that
Well, even
territorial.
my one cat has a spot.
Yeah?
And he'll do the same thing a human does. You know how you put your arm on the armrest and lean? He does the same thing.
All right, this is Bernie.
We need leadership in this country which will improve the lives of working families, the children, the elderly, the sick, and the poor. We need leadership which brings our people together and makes us stronger. Not leadership which insults Latinos and Mexicans, insults Muslims and women, African Americans and veterans, and seeks to divide us up. By these measures, any objective observer will conclude that based on her ideas and her leadership, Hillary Clinton must become the next president of the United States.
Where's all this booing that the press
Well,
claimed?
that was
I
just,
didn't hear it.
that was just a short part of his
Oh.
speech, and I'm trying to find the full speech here. But there were times during the speech that there was some audience reactions. Let's see, maybe this says 3 minutes and 13 seconds. His speech was longer than that. But yeah, he had a very good, inspiring speech as well, and certainly his supporters were lit up and excited that he had an opportunity to address the convention, not in the style or in the position that they hoped for, but I thought he did a good job in helping to make that transition and bring in the party together, and that's the key at this point. You know, the Democrats, just like the Republicans, they have to get on one page and move forward. Otherwise, you're not going to win. A house divided goes down. And that's just doesn't work that way.
I understand that many people here in this convention hall and around the country are disappointed about the final results of the nominating process. I think it's fair to say that no one is more disappointed than I am.
Right? They're showing a picture of a lady crying.
But to all of our supporters here and around the country, I hope you take enormous pride in the historical accomplishments we have achieved. Together, my friends, we have begun a political revolution to transform America, and that revolution, our revolution, continues.
Wow.
Election days come and go, but the struggle of the people to create a government which represents all of us and not just the 1%. A government based on the principles of economic, social, racial, and environmental justice. That struggle continues. And I look forward to being part of that struggle with you. Let me be as clear as I can be. This election is not about and has never been about Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump or Bernie Sanders or any of the other candidates who sought the presidency. This election is not about political gossip. It's not about polls. It's not about campaign strategy. It's not about fundraising. It is not about all the things that the media spends so much time discussing. This election is about and must be about the needs of the American people and the kind of future we create for our children and our grandchildren.
Dynamic. He had the house rocking. And, there were some unhappy people, but the things that he was just speaking about also are the same things that Hillary is for. The thing that he, I think, was masterful at was to get certain parts of his platform, the things that he ran on during the primary, integrated into the current platform that Hillary's moving forward with. Minimum wage, the reduction or free college. I think if she's elected, we're going to see some change or reform as it relates to the cost of education in this country. Now, of course, it's not going to change the Ivy League colleges. They're going to go up. They're going to continue to increase.
It puts these kids in debt. And then they come out of college, they get a decent job, but they can't get no credit.
No.
That's what's happened to my son. And he doesn't even owe that much, but it's really hard for a kid. They can't buy a house because of the debt.
No, they come out with a mortgage. When you come out of school with anywhere from $150,000 to $400,000 or $500,000 in student loans, how in the hell are you going to make that work?
Well, school should be for everybody. I mean, it's like we have went backwards again.
We encourage our kids to go to school, to get a good education so they can come out and get a good, well-paying job. But a job even at $100,000, $150,000 a year, and you got a $400,000 student loan, you'll be 60 years old before you finish paying for it. You're ready to retire, but you don't have much to retire on other than Social Security. And if the Republicans have their way with that, they'll take that and privatize it and screw that up.
They're already trying to.
Yeah. I mean, Donald Trump would love to get his hands on the amount of money that goes through the Social Security program. He would love that. And many other businessmen would love to get their hands on it and privatize that. The banking industry would love to have access to that cash flow. Of course. But are you going to treat it right? Are you going to protect it and ensure that you, your parents, your children are taken care of when you make that investment? What we do, we pay into the Social Security program. It's like an investment. We give a loan to the United States of America and say, okay, when I reach at least 62 years old, I can start drawing down on that loan. Okay? That's, in simplistic terms, that's how the Social Security
and then
works.
Don't you have to pay taxes now, too?
I'm not sure. I'm not paying shit. I've already paid taxes on it.
Well, I think
I'm not going to pay taxes on it
I think you
again.
do have to.
I'm not doing it.
If you're still
I'm
working
protesting.
and
Well, if
making
you're
some
still
money.
working, yeah, you pay taxes on that new income. So if you're drawing your Social Security, my understanding at least, and I might be wrong, but once you start collecting your check on a monthly basis, and then you're allowed to work and earn up to a certain point, and after that point, they start reducing the amount of money you get out of your Social Security, and you're paying back into the system again. And also, you can stop or come out of the Social Security program twice in your lifetime and go back to work. And when you go back to work, you start paying back into the system again. So they give you up to 2 times, because I called and asked about it. I said, well, if I start collecting my money now, and then I get a job to go back, and they say, well, you can go back to work at least twice. Not at least, but up to 2 times. And after that, you're probably too damn old to work anyway. So that's the way the system works, at least as far as I know, based on the information that
I
I've
don't
looked
think
into.
anybody gets to retire nowadays.
No, man, when you got people working at 70, 75 years old, and not that, by today's standards, you're still pretty good at that point, but some people are not. I know some people younger than me that are walking around looking like they're 90 years old. So it just depends on the individual and your health situation.
Yeah, I have friends that look like they're 20 years older than
Yeah.
me, and it's a joke because I know I'm older than them.
I mean, look at Carol. Carol's 83, and she goes out and walks 3 miles every day.
I walk
She's
more than 3.
5 miles, whatever it is. You're walking 100% more than what I do. And you do that, what, 5 o'clock in the morning?
No, I get up that early, but by the time I comb my cat's hair and feed them and give them their vitamins,
Lord have mercy.
it takes you a while, and then I
Those
have to
cats
take
are-
a shower.
Those cats are spoiled. Definitely.
No, they're not spoiled.
They're rotten.
That's how I was with my children.
So you have to.
My children could never say I was a bad mother.
You have to groom
I spanked
the
them.
cats?
They'll tell people, she beat us. When
What?
they get mad at she used to beat us.
Well-
No, everybody did what I did.
That's right.
And you know what? I'm alive and I'm healthy. It's not like I dragged you around the house by your hair and stamped on your head and put you in the oven. But I did beat you. Yeah, I spanked the hell out of you. Sure
Well,
did.
That's what you're supposed to do.
And
You
then,
love
you
them.
know, the joke is kids will tell how, certain ages, how their mothers would come outside. And
Mm-hmm.
when they didn't hear you the first time or knew they were supposed to be in, you're screaming their name. And they're with all their friends. Oh, no, it's my mom.
Yep.
Then
They're
they know
embarrassed.
they better come, because if they don't, I'm coming out there. And yeah, I would snatch them by the hair, but I didn't pull them. I snatched and said, get in the house. What time were you supposed to be here? But the thing is, I think kids are more rotten now because you're not allowed to do this. And it didn't kill anybody. You see more killings now with children being killed by mothers and fathers than you ever did when I grew up. And I can honestly say that if you do a research.
Did you see the comment your daughter left on the website?
No, what'd she say?
She said she loved you, Mom. She said, I'm Carol's daughter, and all the way from, was it Crenshaw, Georgia?
Oh, Georgia, yeah.
Yeah, I love your show, Carol and Michael.
Lee.
She's a- Michael. I never thought both of you, what? I never thought both of you were so funny. Oh, okay. And blunt. She must be talking about you. The bluntness.
She's probably talking because I'm talking about how I used to tear them up.
Uh-huh.
Like if they didn't fold their clothes
Mm-hmm.
and I asked you to clean your room, okay, you didn't want to listen. I took everything out of the drawers, the closet, and they came home and it was piled.
Then she went further to say, it's very refreshing to get honesty. I listen to your station regularly, and now I listen to your station regularly and will continue. Mom, you are really amazing on the radio. Love you. See? Well, even with those butt whippings, she's showing you love.
Oh, I whooped. But see, they do it when they do get mad. They go, oh, she used to beat us. She beat us terrible.
Well, we all say that.
I know, because my mother gave you a real whooping.
Mm-hmm.
you go out and you pick out that switch, and you better make sure it's a good one. I used to climb up trees running from her.
Right.
And I'd get up that tree so fast, she'd go, you got to come in sometime.
Sooner or later.
Did you do that, run from your parents?
Absolutely.
But you knew you had to come in. See, they don't know what we really went through.
That's right. Yeah, I went through it.
And see, we didn't have phones and all the stuff kids have. I mean,
no.
my one granddaughter comes over. I don't even know if she says hi. She goes straight to my extra room.
Yeah?
I don't see her unless she wants something to drink. So what are you here for?
Exactly.
But she's on her little thing. That's how they communicate because, like I told you before, kids can't go outside like they used to.
That's
you
true.
don't see kids in the street
They don't
playing
want
kick
to.
the ball. No, it's not that they don't want to. It's too dangerous.
Well, that too. But, I mean,
It's very dangerous
before
out
things
there.
got the way they are now, kids, they would
My
on the
kids,
video games.
my oldest kids ran all over. They did what kids got to do, but kids can't now. You have too many pedophiles. You have people that run people over. It's horrible out there.
It is.
You don't know who's living in the complex where you're living.
That's true. You know, we didn't worry about that so much because we knew our neighbors.
Yeah.
And we grew up with their kids, and our parents grew up with them. Everybody knew everybody. You knew each other forever.
Do a
Not
search
anymore.
in your neighborhood. Go into the search.
Oh, yeah.
And see how many pedophiles live around you. You'll be shocked.
It's true. Yep.
So
You're
it's
absolutely
kind
right.
of hard on kids nowadays because they don't get to do the things. They can't even walk home from school. Very few kids walk home from school by themselves. Their parents come and get them.
I wouldn't know any other way.
But it's changed. I
Yeah.
used to walk miles by myself, and I'd hook onto cars if the roads were icy.
Yep.
Did you do that?
Yeah, I'm ashamed to say yes.
I'm not
we did
ashamed
that.
to say it was fun. But
was
now I think
stupid,
about
though.
it, was I crazy?
We used to do that with roller skates as well. Hang
Yeah,
on the
you
back
just
of a
hook
car.
on. I used
Yeah.
to climb trestles, those big things that
Yeah,
go.
the train-
now I
train
look and I
trestles.
go, oh my God, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
Or jump a train.
Yeah, we used to do that. We used to jump off the train trestle into the river and swim.
Well, remember I was
Mm-hmm.
saying the other day, what do they call that thing? That line thing they do?
The line thing?
You know, it's a new thing they do, but it isn't new because we used to do it with a rope and swing across to the other side.
Yeah. It's I don't know what you call it now. So now they have a cable that runs
Yeah.
from one side to the other.
But
and
see, we
the
did
harness
that.
and all. Yeah.
I try to tell my kids, I go, everything you've did, we've already done. It just
exactly.
goes in a circle life.
Yeah. It's
But we're
a
not
little
going to
different.
let Trump put us in a circle.
That's true.
He's not going to take us back.
Let's see. We got a few minutes left. I want to try to get in a little bit of Michelle Obama's speech here in a minute or so. But yeah, I mean, we used to do crazy stuff, and a lot of times our parents didn't know what we were doing. But when they found out, Lord have mercy on your soul.
That was built by
Here's Michelle
slaves.
Obama.
And I watch my daughters, two beautiful, intelligent black young women, playing with their dogs on the White House lawn. And because of Hillary Clinton, my daughters and all our sons and daughters now take for granted that a woman can be president of the United States. So look, don't let anyone ever tell you that this country isn't great, that somehow we need to make it great again, because this right now is the greatest country on earth.
That's Michelle Obama laying it out last night, big time. She's a great speaker, and whether she wrote the speech or somebody else did, I'm sure that will be copied as well. It was great. very inspirational, very to the point. And I think 99% of the people in America, regardless of your political affiliation, you can relate to what she was talking about. You have to. If you're going to be honest and open, you have to lay down your political views and say, you know what? She's 100% correct. This is a great country. I've never thought about being anywhere else. Maybe on vacation. I'd like to go to somewhere tropical and just kick back and maybe spend a month or two somewhere just to break up the monotony. But could I ever change my citizenship? I can't come up with one good reason why I would want to do that. With all our faults, with all our issues, with all the things that are going on, this is my home. This is our home. And we need to protect it and respect it and treat it with honor. And when people come against us, we band together to protect our home. And that starts in your home, in your house. That's where that starts. And then it works its way out. I'm energized. I'm really excited about where we are. I see movement still moving forward. We're not going backwards. We're not standing still. I see hope in our children, in our grandchildren. When you see them leaning forward and doing good things, like that young man that did the poem that we played a few minutes ago, that has to instill hope in us and say, yeah, the future is going to be bright because there are smart people doing smart things today.
He's definitely a great speaker.
Absolutely. He's going to be dynamic. Who knows where that child's going to end up, but he's got a future. And when we see special talent, we have to embrace it, lift it up, elevate it, support it, push it forward. And then when we see people who don't have special talent, we have to help them become special. Everyone deserves that opportunity. Everyone. I'd like to think that someday our educational system becomes more affordable. Whether it becomes completely free, I don't think that'll ever happen because the learning institutions, the major schools, they're not going to go away. There are always going to be people who can afford to pay for those special schools. The Michigans, the Yales, and the NYUs of the world, UCLAs, and
but
all the major
if a kid
schools.
really studies hard, and I mean, they don't give all the recognition they should to kids of color that are getting into these schools with major scholarships. There was a brother and sister, I think, between the two of them, it was like $2 million in scholarships they were being offered. So I always advise, like with my son, is when he was going to school, I stayed on him.
Yeah. Well,
he
you
didn't
have
get to run the streets, and he didn't do a lot of things other kids got to do because he had to keep a certain grade average.
Absolutely. And everybody, unfortunately, does not learn the same way, at the same level, or doesn't have the ability. But it doesn't mean that they shouldn't have an opportunity to advance themselves to the best of their ability. So, yeah, there are people who get full scholarships, but none of these schools are going to give, if there's 10,000 people, new enrollees in any school per year, or 1,000, 500, whatever it is, all of them are not going to get scholarships.
No.
Because the schools can't operate if they did that. Then that would be free school.
Well, the way I always felt is you apply to as many schools as you can.
Sure, absolutely.
If you got to apply to 10, apply to them.
That's right.
One of them's going to take you.
I have a granddaughter who's 15. She's a straight A student for years. She's an athlete. Our hope is that she will get a scholarship at some level. And, whether it's athletic and academic or both, that's what we're hoping for.
Well,
because,
what helps?
Who can afford these schools?
What helps too is you got to make sure they do a lot of community service.
Yep.
I stayed on my son there. And have him join something like with him. He's not an athlete. He swam, a very good swimmer. He swam on swim teams, but they have a thing called Youth in Government. And the YMCAs do this. When I went to apply to schools with him and we listened to different people talk, they asked each parent to step up and say something. And I brought that up, and they all knew what it was, the people from the colleges that were there to listen to stuff. And parents asked me after, well, is it too late to join? I go, well, they're seniors already, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're smart, you have your kid get into youth and government. I think they can get in right at 9th grade or maybe middle school. And they literally take over the government. Once a year, they go to Sacramento, and one person's the governor. My son was the press. I still have his papers that he published at it.
That's great. I like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity. I tell people, if you don't look for it, you're not going to find it. I put him in College Bound. I joined Better Chance. I looked for everything I could find because I knew what schools were going to run. He even got into top prep schools. So I tell people, if you feel there's always something out there if you search it.
That's true. You got to do a little digging. Do your due diligence. Talk to other people who've gone through the process if you never have. And, there's a way. There are opportunities out there to at your disposal that you can utilize and help move the ball down the court.
Well, College Bound and Alliance, it's for children of color, so it's Asian. And they literally go after all the prep schools for you, which helps to get into a good prep school.
Sure.
College Bound is another thing where they go to on a Saturday. And it's not every Saturday, and they get schoolwork from there. But it also, when they go to graduate, you have a bunch of people that come forward with scholarships with that, too.
There you go. So, again, it goes back to building relationships. So as you're joining these various organizations, you're building relationships with the people there, which helps you move forward. And one thing that a lot of kids don't understand is when you meet new people, and when you go to college, high school, college together, you're building a relationship. You never know when your friend or your roommate might end up being in a position that can reach back and pull you along, or vice versa. You get into a position, you say, hey, my roommate was really good in math, and he was a good technical, science guy and good on computers, and we need a new IT guy. So let me call Ralph up. Hey, Ralph, listen, man, I got a job opening here at this new gig I got. I want you to apply. I can't guarantee you're going to get the job, but apply. That's how things work. And there's nothing wrong with that. Through your relationships, through building trust, respect, honor, and all the things that come along with that, that's how you move the ball down the court. If you don't know that by now, you better get a grip on it because that's the way it works. All right, the show's about over. Thank you, Carol, for another great show. You going to come in tomorrow, or you got you working on your other job?
No, I'm here tomorrow,
You're gonna be here?
unless
Okay.
something comes up.
Okay. I know how that is.
Yeah.
If it comes up, you got a chance to make that money, go for it.
Well, most of my jobs come later in the day, which is sometimes too much.
Uh-huh. All right, we'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific time, Monday through Friday, on The Power of Voices. It's the Lee Michaels Show. Thank you so much. Share this on your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the other social media platforms. Let your friends know about it. We see the growth every day. Thank you. Be good, be kind, and tell somebody you love them. Have a good day.